This is homework question 20 from the module 11.1 homework assignment. Public awareness of a congressional candidate before and after his campaign was approximated by this given function. And what we want to find is first the average fraction of people who would recall the candidate's name during the first 5 months, and then after or during the first 2 years. So one of the keys to this problem here is identifying that this is an average value problem. So essentially what we want to do is take this given function and apply it to the average value function to it. So if we're considering the first 5 months, that's going to be the integral from 0 to 5. And with that average value function, we have 1 over b minus a, so 1 over 5 minus 0 of our given function, 7.8t over t squared plus 49 plus 0.1 dt. Now, a step that you don't necessarily need to take is to rewrite this as t squared plus 49, that quantity to the negative first power. So we can rewrite that first term as t squared plus 49 to the negative first, which sometimes writing it that way can just be a little bit easier to identify which part of this is the composite function. So in this case, t squared plus 49 is that interior function. So this first term we'll need to integrate by substitution. 0.1 is going to be a simple integral, so that won't be much to take care of. But here we can let u equal t squared plus 49, which means du over dt will equal 2t. So we get du equals 2t dt. But here we don't have 2t to substitute out. So if we rewrite that as du over 2 equals t dt, then this part we can replace with u, and the t dt we can replace with du. So this is going to give us 1/5 times the integral of 7.8 times u to the negative first times du over 2. So actually, let's get rid of this 1/5. Let's focus on just integrating this portion. So integrating 7.8 u to the negative first du over 2 is the same thing as the integral of 7.8 divided by 2 is going to be 3.9. So we're integrating 1 over u du, which is 3.9 times the natural log of the absolute value plus some constant c. And back here we had 0.1. The integral of 0.1 is just going to be 0.1t. So our problem becomes 1/5 times 3.9 times the natural log of the absolute value of u plus 0.1t evaluated from t equals 0 to t equals 5. But here we have this first term expressed in terms of u, so we need to rewrite that by replacing u with our original substitution, t squared plus 49. So now we have our integral that we want to evaluate at t equals 5 and t equals 0, and then subtract to get those differences. So from there, that's really just calculator operations, but that should give you approximately 0.422. Then for the second part of this question, we're asked to do exactly the same thing, except that we'd be integrating from 0 to 24, if what we're considering is 2 years, so 2 years being 24 months. So in this case, it would be 1 over 24 times the integral from 0 to 24 of our function dt. So actually we could skip right to this very last step because the integral here, well actually no, I'm sorry, we can't do that because we're changing that upper bound. But you can trace back through the steps. The final result here is only going to change slightly. The only thing that changes is the 24 here and here rather than the 5s. But the second part of this problem will be very similar.